The following is a special presentation from WVEC TV 13.
During this holiday season, please take time to remember our men and women in uniform defending our country. Taco Bell is made up of active duty military veterans and their family members. Hopefully this show helps bring their well wishes and love from their families to our heroes miles away from home. Please sit back and enjoy the rest of the show.
Hello, I'm Preston Larson, speaking on behalf of the Dodge dealers of Hampton Roads. We are once again honored to be a part of a holiday salute, a tribute to our armed forces. We feel fortunate to help recognize the sacrifice and commitment each of you and your families make every day to protect the lives of all Americans. Thank you for keeping our country free and safe. We are proud to be here for you and especially thankful that you are here for all of us. Please enjoy this show.
Hello, I'm Mike Petters, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to a holiday salute. Joining me are some of the great shipbuilders of Newport News who work second shift building our nation's nuclear-powered attack submarines. They represent the 21,000 men and women who build the greatest ships in the world. Ships like the Harry S. Truman, which will be featured on this year's program. We're here to wish all those who serve our country and their families a safe and joyful holiday season. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to our country. Happy holidays!
From the Horn of Africa to the USS Truman Strike Group, 13 News presents Holiday Salute, a tribute to our armed forces.
Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm Joe Flanagan. Once again this holiday season, thousands of Hampton Roads military personnel are away on long, lonely holiday deployments. Soldiers like these in places like Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Coast Guardsmen and Air Force on distant shores, sailors and Marines on Norfolk Bay ships in places like the Persian Gulf, the Mediterranean Sea, and some spots you never heard of before, perhaps like Djibouti. Well, that is where our Mike Gooding is this year.
Well, hi there, Joe, and hello and happy holidays to everyone back home in Hampton Roads. This is Camp Lemonnier, as the name suggests, a former outpost of the French Foreign Legion. It's now a kind of home away from home for some 2,000 American military men and women this Christmas. They're out here in Djibouti, East Africa, fighting the war on terrorism in a most unexpected way. They're doing it not with bombs and bullets, but with goodwill and good deeds. In what is undeniably one of the most impoverished places on Earth, American troops are doing what they can to lend a hand. Here, Navy Religious Program Specialist 3rd Class Samuel Mills from the USS Harry S. Truman drops off humanitarian supplies donated by the people of Hampton Roads.
It's really a touching experience to come from what we have in the States. It's an eye-opener to see all the poverty that's around here, and it's heartwarming to be able to come out and help the local people.
I volunteered to come over to Djibouti because I'm coming to Africa, and it's not often you could come to Africa, you know, on the military's dime. So it's easy. It's good because you can experience, say that, hey, I went to Africa and I went for this reason here. I didn't go just for luxury. I went for to help people out.
Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa, with nearly 100 Corps staff members from Joint Forces Command in Suffolk, is dedicated to the idea of avoiding conflict altogether through the use of 3 Ds: diplomacy, defense, and development. The troops know it's important work, even if it does mean being 8,000 miles from home at the holidays, says Langley Air Force Base Major Lanny Greenbaum.
Being here, being proactive, doing things now to prevent things that would happen 10 or 15 years from now. The mission is very worthwhile.
They go forward into Djibouti and 12 other countries in the Horn of Africa region and work with the 187 million people who live there, teaching in schools, volunteering in orphanages, and training local soldiers how to fight. Secretary of Defense and William & Mary alum Robert Gates praised the overall effort during an early December visit to the camp.
It's humanitarian, it's professionalizing African militaries, it's helping them build institutions and strengthen their institutions.
Still, with the U.S. military already stretched thin around the globe, does it make sense to devote so much manpower to this corner of the world right now?
Why Africa and why now?
Well, I think there's been a real realization within our own country and our government strategic importance of Africa. 40% of the world's oil or something moves through these straits all the time. So it's very, very important. And that really gets to our mission. And what we're doing here is we're trying to prevent conflict, promote regional stability, protect our interests and our partners' interests in order to prevail against extremism.
Deployment day for the carrier Harry S. Truman was Monday, November 5th. 5,000 sailors and Marines heading out to do their part for peace on earth, goodwill toward men and women. Some see it as a job, some see it as a privilege, but all get into the daily routine of the ship. Vanessa Corrier and photographer Ryan Beard were on board this year.
Joe, the power and might of the Northrop Grumman Newport News-built USS Harry S. Truman and its carrier air wing are being felt.
From the USS Harry S. Truman, happy holidays, Hampton Roads!
The aircraft carrier on a 7-month deployment in support of ongoing maritime security operations.
You know, they're leaving their families behind, you know, whether they're married or not, or maybe they're just mom and dad or brother and sister at home. They sacrifice to come out here and do this.
And Captain Herman Shalansky says for many, it's their first time. This cruise taking them away from family and friends over 5 major holidays, including Christmas.
An exciting trip. At the same time, I'm sad because, you know, I miss my family and I miss them in the holidays.
Communications specialist Michael Flores is one of those first-timers. He said goodbye to his wife and 3 children back in November.
I already have a game plan as far as what I'm going to do, learning and taking some classes online and keeping myself occupied.
Staying busy. That's the advice old pros like MC2 Pamela Cox offer their co-workers on how to cope, especially during the holidays.
Just that we're here for each other.
This is Cox's 2nd holiday deployment. The Navy woman missing her husband and 4 children.
I wish I could have you here with me. I wish I could have packed them in my sea bag, but I'll be home soon.
It's each other these sailors must lean on this holiday season.
From the flag deck of the Harry S. Truman, happy holidays, Hampton Roads!
And when that's not enough,
I always say that everybody is within a quarter of a mile of this chapel.
Lieutenant Commander Daniel Mode is one of 4 chaplains aboard the Truman. He says holiday services play an important role on the ship.
We'll be missing during this deployment Christmas at home, Easter at home, Jewish holidays of Passover. These are very critical times for our sailors, and it's a way for them to reconnect.
But sailors have yet another way to reconnect.
A big part of the holidays is keeping in touch with family. One of the biggest ways to do that, of course, is online. Now the Truman has more computers than ever, keeping more sailors in touch with home.
Before this deployment, there were only 11 library computers for a crew of thousands. Now there are 80 internet-accessible computers available to junior sailors 24/7. These new internet cafes, a first for the fleet.
You'll just see computers everywhere. We're trying to get a cappuccino machine in here. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we're still pushing.
Petty Officer 2nd Class Jimmy Omalade had a lead role in setting up the new cafes.
You can see that email that your mother sent you. See that email that your sisters or brother, your wife, your spouses, your kids. Once you see that, it makes it more better and it gives you pretty much a boost and you can get right back into work.
The new computers already making a big impact this holiday season on the Truman's crew.
This is a total morale booster for us on the ship.
This is definitely one of the biggest things to be thankful for while on deployment.
The ornaments are hung on the tree just right. The candy canes, if they make it to the holidays, make a fine finishing touch.
I hide one in the back, don't tell my mom.
Army wife Kim works hard to keep them merry in Christmas for her 3 young children. This year the holidays will be different, a bit lonely. Dad is gone. Javon says he's off doing important work.
I'm proud of my dad for fighting for our country.
Dad is a staff sergeant, a transportation coordinator who deployed out of Fort Eustis earlier this year. It's his 4th tour as part of the global war on terror. Kalia says her dad works hard.
He does his work. He has a nice office and chair. He works on a computer, and he types stuff, and he sends like everybody in her family emails.
Kim says she'll miss her husband this Christmas and her large family in Louisiana, some 23 nieces and nephews. But between her schoolwork to become a medical assistant and a commitment to help other military families deal with the stresses of deployments, Kim says she feels needed here, even if it means being alone.
It'll be different for me because it'll be the first time I don't have a lot of people around me for the holidays.
Kim says in between opening gifts with the kids, watching videos, and Christmas dinner, she knows she'll get a phone call that will make her feel a tad bit homesick.
They'll call me. They will call me, we're eating gumbo, or we're opening your gift.
Mommy, did I spell Christmas right?
Like so many Army wives, Kim knows she must stay strong for herself and especially her children. And she knows her husband is proud of her.
With my kids, I noticed they feed off a lot of things I do. So if I stay positive, they stay positive.
The family takes things a day at a time as they wait for Dad to return. Cards and emails keep the family connected. Jaden tells his dad he's getting pretty good at video games.
Oh, he's so cool.
And he said, don't get too good before I get back to practice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kim says for all of her worries and the stress she feels, there's one thing she knows for sure that keeps her going. People appreciate the sacrifice her family and her husband are making for their country.
I feel that they do. Just from the reaction I've always gotten from my family, friends, people I meet. People just, always saying thank you to my husband for what he does.
And for that we say thank you and Merry Christmas as well.
Hi, I'm General Scott Wallace, Commanding General of the U.S. Army Training and Doctrine Command. My wife Sharon and I want to wish happy holidays to you and your family, and all of the soldiers, families, civilians, and retirees who make up our great Army. Please join us in recognizing and honoring the selfless dedication of our soldiers serving far from home this holiday season and the sacrifices of their families. While soldiers are the strength of our nation, soldiers draw their strength from their families and their faith. We recognize the commitment and sacrifices that Army families make every day. During this festive season, keep the men and women defending our freedoms, whether as soldiers, family members, or civilians, in your hearts and minds. Thank you for all you do. May God bless you, our great nation, our soldiers and their families. From my family to yours, we wish you a safe and happy holiday season.
In war, resolution. In peace, goodwill. That's the motto of DDG 81, the USS Winston Churchill. The day she pulled out, sailors were trying to do one thing.
I just try to stay focused on the job, focused on the mission, trying to get everything done, keep busy.
Some have been there, done that, but for others, it's a first. How will they get through this long and lonely holiday deployment?
Hopefully a lot of emails from my family and friends and just working all the time.
It's tough, but the ship has activities to, increase the morale of the sailors. Try to have a nice dinner on Christmas Day.
The Girl Scouts showed their support for Churchill this year, as we discovered live on 13 News Daybreak. What else but Girl Scout cookies? You'll do 300 cases here on board Churchill, and I heard 1,000 on the carrier. It's a great gesture, got to make you feel good. And how long have you been doing this?
We've been doing this since 2003, and this year we actually teamed up with the Girl Scouts of New York City, and they helped us bring these cookies down.
It's going to be so great. Everyone I told about this was so excited about the cookies. Everyone loves Girl Scout cookies. And it's one little piece of home, right? Having those little Girl Scout come to your front door and offer you Girl Scout cookies, or your mom buying too many of them, or your neighbors saying, oh, I bought too many Girl Scout cookies. You have to help me come over and eat them all. And now our ship's that way, right? We have too many Girl Scout cookies. So I think the sailors will help us out, though, and make sure we get all those Girl Scout cookies eaten well before we come back into port.
Ensign Ian gave these Girl Scouts from Colonial Coast a grand tour of the USS Churchill, and they loved it.
It was cool.
Why?
Because I like the anchor. It was just, yeah.
Makes me pretty happy because we're giving, and giving makes everybody happy, so.
Sure. And you think you'd ever join the Navy?
I'm thinking so, but I kind of don't like shots, so.
And here's one from the 6 degrees of separation. When the Winston Churchill met with President Roosevelt, he also met the man assigned to protect the president. Well, that man's grandson is a sailor on board this ship. And at a recent change of command, he met Churchill's grandson, who was also on board and was able to tell that story to him.
Yes, I did. And he was very enthralled, and we stood and talked about it for a few minutes, so it was really neat. So
that had to make you happy.
It made me very happy. I wish my granddad was still here to tell him about it, but I know he'd be proud.
So in the spirit of the season, crewmen from the USS Winston Churchill wanted to pass along holiday wishes.
I would just like to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to my wife Heather, and Happy Holidays to all of the Hampton Roads area.
I would just like to say hi to Christine, my lovely wife, and my daughter Caitlin. I love you both. I'll miss you both. Merry Christmas.
My name's Christine. I'd just like to say Merry Christmas to my sisters Ashley and Brittany. Hope you're doing good.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Missy, Jacob, and Lacey, and wish you all the best, and I'm thinking about you.
I'd like to wish a Merry Christmas to all my family and friends back in Morganton, North Carolina. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.
From USS Winston Churchill, Happy Holidays, Hampton Roads.
Back in Africa, the people are so poor when the U.S. military hands out even a few donations like these from generous Hampton Roads residents, small scenes of chaos can spontaneously erupt.
And this place is have beautiful people, human beings, made in the image of God, all of that, and yet they one package can turn 10 kids into a mob trying to grab that one little bit just because they don't have anything. That touches my heart.
Chaplain of the Air Force Major General Charles Baldwin traveled to the Seventh-day Adventist Clinic outside a refugee camp outside downtown Djibouti City.
Those children will never, they may not even know we're Americans, but it doesn't matter. They are people who came here to help, and maybe they'll remember that somebody in a uniform showed up and did something kind and gentle, and that's a good thing.
The people who run these clinics and orphanages and schools here in Djibouti say it would be hard, if not impossible, to do what needs to be done without the help of the U.S. military.
Well, it is a big help to us because you see how limited our resources are here. And with the coming of your group to help us with our needs, it boosts our assistance to the people who are in need.
At nearby St. Mary's Orphanage, Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa troops show up 3 times a week.
Basically, the folks from the camp just come out and help with the feeding, play with the kids, spend time with them. That's a big help.
At the Horsehead School in the Balala district of Djibouti, every Monday night the Americans come to teach African school children how to speak conversational English. They even let me do my part. I left them with the best lesson I could think of.
What a great opportunity it is to be of service when we have time off from our mission for projects such as this. The compassion, the heart of the American people is seen here.
We are very, very happy for giving us a hand to the students.
The idea, though, is not simply to give a hand out, but a hand up to people in need. Chaplain Baldwin says it's an important American legacy that could pay dividends in the ongoing war on terror, and that's the whole idea.
We go in and make the world a better place. We don't leave landmines, we leave food and clothes.
Where were you in the service?
I was in Korea.
Talking with veterans is something Ruth Dorsman can relate to. That's because she's also a vet. She was a nurse at the 51st Field Hospital in Normandy.
I was on the front line in World War II and in a field hospital. So I saw them when they were wounded, when they were young, and how they quickly recovered from their wounds. And our soldiers were just really wonderful young men. So I know that these are the product, these are the end result of those soldiers. So it's nice to be able to talk to them.
And the veterans here at the Hampton VA Hospital appreciate the visit as well.
That means that they are aware of the circumstances, that this time of the year brings to mind to a lot of people,
That's one of the reasons Dorsman worked with the youth group at Christ the King Episcopal Church to put special bags together for the veterans, to let them know they're appreciated and not forgotten.
Because a lot of the vets don't have any relatives left, or perhaps if they have relatives they're not close and can't visit, so it's nice for them to be able to talk to someone.
Several members of the youth group came along to help hand out the bags, but ended up getting much more in return.
Well, I thought it was pretty cool to find out what they did and how they served our country.
You got to learn about the past and what they did to help contribute to what we live in now. It's a very rewarding experience to be able to actually say thank you face to face with someone that served your country.
And then for me and Regina, we went to Guam, and I was on Guam for about a year.
Retired Marine Mike Dudash joined the group and enjoyed the chance to thank his fellow veterans.
These are our heroes right here, the guys sitting in these chairs. They're the ones that did all the hard work.
This was Dudash's first visit to the VA hospital, but he says after this worthwhile experience, it definitely won't be his last.
Come join them and lift their hearts. It doesn't take much. Just a few kind words and you're on cloud nine.
That's the message these giving volunteers will take from this visit to share with others, that during the holidays and all year long, there are veterans who truly appreciate the greatest gift you can give them, the gift of your time to say thanks.
We're on the Pasquotank River in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. This is the first time the Coast Guard has allowed a local reporter to be rescued from the water as part of their drills. We wanted to put you right in the middle of the action so you can see the bravery of these crews and how they get the job done. They get the call and spring into action. Each rescue mission has a crew of 4, the pilot and co-pilot, the repair mechanic, Hunter Hill, and the rescue swimmer, Brad Pigage. He takes a leap of faith, risking his life to save ours.
Your nerves are kind of flying at that moment.
Once Brad hits the water, Hunter is his safety net above.
Without him, I don't get back up to the helicopter.
And what are you doing to look out for him?
Everything I can. Aside from jumping out after him, everything I can to get him back in the helicopter.
Hunter makes sure the rescue equipment works and keeps the pilots in position.
If there's a break in the chain anywhere, then it could be somebody's life.
In this case, mine. I was struggling to stay calm with the helicopter whipping up the water. It's easy for victims to freak out.
You panicked a little bit when you turned away from the rotor wash. I know it probably hurt your face a little bit.
The Coast Guard made me wear a wetsuit. That kept me afloat. Without it, I would have easily gone under. Waves of concern washed away when I heard Brad's voice and knew he was near. What did you tell me?
I just told you to relax, and I'll do the swimming for you.
Brad got me in the safety basket. Hunter hoisted me to safety. Then, once Brad signals he's okay, Hunter plucked him from the water too. They'll tell you they do this every day. This wasn't every day for me. I have new respect for these crews who consider themselves
the Guardian, you know.
When we filed this report, the crews from Elizabeth City have been the guardians of more than 60 people this year, people rescued from our waters. They were there when several boats capsized in one day during a nor'easter. They were there when a jet from Oceania crashed during a training exercise off the coast. They managed to rescue the pilot, whose wife gave birth days after the incident.
You know, there's no better feeling than getting to help save someone's life, you know, if they're in the water.
After seeing what they do firsthand, I got a chance to learn about the sense of pride that drives them.
We're out to help people. After Katrina, we got a lot of publicity, everything about what we do, and we are out here to help people. It's not just the way it was perceived before, is you only call the Coast Guard when you need them. Now you know that the Coast Guard's around 24/7.
Seeing Katrina and seeing rescues on TV and everything, they better appreciate us and know exactly what we do.
We do this to protect lives, and there's no other buddy that does this for us.
Their training is intense. They work hard as a team to look out for each other and for us. I mean, that was awesome out there. I've never experienced that. This is your job every day. I'm glad you guys are here.
I can't really see myself doing much else right now.
And our shores are better off for it.
I'm Chief Warrant Officer Christopher Brown, USS Harry S. Truman. I'd like to say Merry Christmas to my family. I love you guys. See you soon.
My name is Dan Manassas, Lieutenant U.S. Navy. I'm here in the Harry S. Truman, and I just want to wish a Merry Christmas to my family, Melanie, Alex, Julia, and Benjamin.
Okay, hi. My name is SS3 Shaq, and I want to tell my family hi, my wife, Jacqueline Shaq, my daughter, Jemiah, Isaiah and Zalia and my mom. Everybody, I love y'all, and I'll be home soon.
My name's BM2 Page. I'm on the USS Harry S. Truman Deck Department, 3rd Division. I'd like to say Merry Christmas to my wife, Becky, and to all our family and friends.
I want to give a shout out to my best friends, Anisha and Shaniqua. I'm CS3 Pendleton from Baltimore, Maryland, on the USS Harry S. Truman. I love you and Merry Christmas.
From Echo Company at Fort Eustis, happy holidays, Hampton Roads!
Another ship that pulled out back in early November was number 56, the USS San Jacinto. We first met the crew of the San Jac back on the first day of school in Virginia Beach.
Do y'all have a roster?
On this first day of school, students at Arrowhead Elementary School in Virginia Beach are welcomed back by sailors off the USS San Jacinto. It's a partnership in education, and throughout the school year, these sailors really get involved in everything from school supply donations and lunch mentoring to accelerated reading and field days. In fact, the USS San Jacinto and Arrowhead Elementary were chosen as a model partnership last year.
Well, it's pretty exciting. We feel like we have a well-rounded program trying to help out in a lot of areas. We felt good about it. This is our school, and it felt good to get that recognition.
Right next door, right over here.
On this day, it was all about helping the younger students find their new classrooms.
I think it's great to be in touch with the kids and let them kind of know what's going on in the world. It's a way for them to keep in touch with us, and it's great to come out and be able to serve the community in this way.
Now, Sailor Matt you just heard from is a proud papa. Baby Michael Dwayne was born about a month before the San Jacinto pulled out. Matt was there.
I was. It was an amazing experience. My command got me out to do that, gave me the time to be there with her, with the baby, and I'm glad I was there.
With wife Christine and mom Janet in town, timing was everything for this electronics specialist.
It works out okay. I was just here long enough to see him be born, spend some time, let him know who his dad is, and I'll be back in time that he won't have forgotten me.
They'll be apart this holiday season, but Matt's wife Christine sort of grew up this way.
With a son, it's going to be hard because I have to take care of me and him. I'm used to taking care of me. My dad was military, my mom was military, so I know how deployments go, but I can't just look out for me, I have to look out for my son now too, so that's going to be a little bit difficult.
Grandma Janet lives in Tulsa. How is she taking son Matt's deployment?
Well, it means that Christy gets to come and stay with me for a while with that baby. It always concerns me, that he's going away, so... But this is his first time to go out on a big deployment, so it's kind of exciting for him, I think.
Make no mistake about it, Christine will still worry.
You're always worried. It doesn't matter. You're worried I worry when he goes to work.
So this birth of a new child fits right into the theme this holiday season, and so does a holiday deployment if you are in the U.S. Navy.
It's hard. It's tough being away. It hurt, It hurts a lot to be away from the ones you love, but I know she's tough. So as long as she's tough, I'm tough, and we'll be okay.
Thanks for your service, Matt, and these wishes are for you.
Merry Christmas, Matt. I love you very much. Your father and I miss you and hope to see you soon, safe, and best wishes to you in your job and the things that you do. Merry Christmas.
Hi, Matt. Me and Michael miss you very much. We just wanted to say hi. Merry Christmas, and we hope you're doing well. We can't wait to see you. We hope you come home safely. We miss you and we love you.
It takes dozens of people to feed the thousands of sailors aboard an aircraft carrier. Supporting flight ops on the USS Harry S. Truman can certainly build up an appetite. Chow time is big time. Galley Captain CS1 O'Neill knows this is his 5th deployment.
I like to put out a good meal so everybody can have a little feel of home.
And that's just what they're looking for this holiday season.
I see ham and turkey, and I see some stuffing, collard greens, sweet potato pie, macaroni and cheese.
Some cornbread, oh goodness.
Christmas dinner, greens, cornbread, macaroni and cheese, chitlins.
Good old soul food.
Oh yeah, soul food.
Ham, turkey, stuffing.
When the Truman got underway, the ship's storerooms and freezers, just like this one, were filled to the ceiling with thousands of pounds of food, all to ensure your loved one has a great Christmas dinner.
The Christmas feast menu, lengthy and detailed. Captain Herman Shalansky telling us it'll be quite a spread.
Great turkeys and every type of side dish stuffing and probably about 8 to 12 different desserts. It's pretty incredible.
Incredible is right, and massive. As you can see, it's a meal they plan and stock up for well before deployment day.
Anytime you're away from family and friends during the holidays, people, expect, for it to be a kind of a world-class event. So there's a lot of preparation.
Lieutenant Commander John Lugo with Supplies and Services breaks it down for us by the pound.
The crew will consume about 1,000 pounds of turkey, 2,000 pounds of ham, and 3,000 pounds of roast beef, 2,000 pounds of twice-baked potatoes, 1,000 pounds of macaroni and cheese.
And that's by no means an exhaustive list of what this crew will eat during this holiday meal.
From the nation of the Harry S. Truman, happy holidays and have a great Christmas dinner.
Next to home-cooked meals, it's the creature comforts of home these sailors miss most while away from loved ones.
Many of us, before we even left port, did a name exchange so that we could have our own Christmas on board, and we did a Secret Santa. We brought decorations with us. So those creature comforts and the things that you've sent us make it easier.
Lieutenant Commander Regina Cox is on deployment number 8. The single mother of 2 knows the value of having a hobby to get you through your downtime.
So you got to recharge your batteries, you got to get together with your girlfriends and sit down and do something that you like to do.
Chief Laura Allister is doing just that. A jet mechanic by day.
I'm actually the dirt diva.
All right, so then you clean up and you are what?
I'm a cosmetologist at night.
She brought her beauty secrets with her.
I like to get manicures and pedicures, so I brought 2 foot soakers and all my manicure pedicure kits so that we could do that on off time.
She says if she's learned anything in her years in the Navy, it's that looking good makes you feel good.
This is my 3rd deployment, so basically I knew what I needed to bring, and I knew what I needed to bring to help other people out. Lots of nail polishes.
Sit. Shake.
All right. The family dogs at the Hatzel home in Hampton are always an instant source of entertainment. When Casey and Jessica aren't in school and their stepfather, Master Sergeant Richard Hatzel, isn't at his security forces job at Langley, the family enjoys pampering their 4-legged family members. But it's the Air Force that reigns supreme in this family. Master Sergeant Pamela Hatzel is also in the Air Force and based at Langley. But this holiday, she's serving a 6 to 8 month deployment in Iraq.
She's asked us to send her some stuff, send her some cards, homemade cards like when we used to do it when we were little.
Mom is a half a world away, but emails and phone calls keep the family in touch and up to date on everything.
Make sure you put in there that Casey's report card came out today, but she failed to bring it home.
Not a day goes by that they don't miss her.
She keeps everything calm because she usually takes care of everything.
The first sergeant is doing the same thing for her military family as the liaison between the enlisted folks and their commander. Her job takes her all over Iraq to take care of the health and morale of troops.
She's been doing it for 4 years now, and she really enjoys it. I just hope she has a good holiday.
With both her mom and stepfather in the Air Force, 17-year-old Casey thinks she's going to follow in their footsteps when she graduates from high school next year.
My mom does it, she loves it, so I figured I would just try it out and see how it goes.
The girls are already missing Mom's special touches during the holidays. But with their stepfather leading the way, the 3 of them will prepare Christmas dinner together.
I'm going to try and master making a pumpkin pie. I've never done it before. It'll be nice for her to get home.
Lock it to the rear. Hold this, and then
Way out in the middle of nowhere in a remote mountain range in the Arta province of the Republic of Djibouti, members of the Djiboutian Air Force get an up-close and personal tutorial in the finer points of the M249 Squad automatic weapon. This kind of military-to-military training dovetails perfectly with Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa's stated objectives, one of which is helping Africans solve Africa's problems. The expert training comes courtesy of the Marines' 3rd Low Altitude Defense Battalion out of Camp Pendleton, California. Officer in charge Sung Park comes from Centerville, Virginia.
And overall, just to foster good relations between two of us and promote just regional stability, help them help themselves. Pretty much, we're here to pretty much provide any kind of resources that they need.
What our training do can help them one day take security of their own country, and without our help, that'd be great.
It's a crucial element in the overall U.S. strategy for being here, preventing conflict by promoting stability, protecting coalition interests, and prevailing against extremism. For their part, the students seem to be quick studies and most grateful for the help.
The country of Djibouti, people like the Americans. So he's not the only one, who likes the Americans. So everyone, because of a lot of, job opportunities, for the Djiboutians.
And this is that dried out riverbed. We went over that dried out riverbed and to this intersection. This is where we're at right now.
The Americans also take their African colleagues out on convoy. One key element of setting up any army is developing a sound system of force protection. The idea here is to show the Djiboutian armed forces how the Americans do it. So the pupils go out on point. They stand watch just like the Yanks, and they wring out every last drop of U.S. know-how. So far, so good.
It's very good to work with the Americans because we're all military, and the work with the Americans is very nice and very good.
He took an oath to serve and protect the citizens of Norfolk. From patrolman to detective to police diver, Officer Scotty Evans has served on the Norfolk Police Department for 18 years. But in January, Evans set aside his police uniform and returned to his Navy uniform as a member of the reserves. In April, Commander Evans deployed to Afghanistan, thousands of miles from home and hundreds of years behind modern life. Tina, his wife of 15 years, reads Commander Evans' first email from the front lines.
Man, it was unbelievable. Goats and sheep and donkeys were just wandering around everywhere. All of the riverbeds were dried up. It broke my heart to see the children living in those conditions. The bricks used to make dwellings were made of mud and straw. Believe me when I tell you, Americans have absolutely no idea how lucky they are.
Commander Evans quickly got to work solving problems big and small for the villagers.
Right now he's begging for coats and gloves for children. It's wintertime now, so he's begging for coats and gloves and hats.
7 months into the deployment, his loving family is buoyed by a holiday greeting delivered via the internet.
Yeah. There he is.
Happy holidays, everyone. My name is Commander Scott Evans. I'm a reservist.
It is a long 15-month deployment, but a Christmas wish may come true. Commander Evans is due to return home for a 2-week stay, just in time for the holidays. Like busy little elves, the Evans are preparing for Daddy's return. They're decorating the tree, putting up about 75% of the decorations. Dad will finish the rest. 9-year-old Scotty's in charge of the lights, and 5-year-old Hannah's favorite ornament is Santa with a badge. Commander Evans has missed a lot over the past several months, but during those precious 2 weeks home, the kids will fill him in on all they've learned since their dad deployed.
I can't wait to show him how to ride my bike, swim in 12 feet water, show him how to go on the computer, and lots of other stuff.
I learned to ride a bike and a scooter.
You did? What else?
A jet ski.
Through the magic of television, Commander Evans can still read the children a bedtime story. This family knows all too well the sacrifices that are required when a man is serving his city and his country.
When he's here serving his city, I'm there for him. He's serving his country, I'm there for him.
You have to look very closely to tell this isn't a real plane and this not a real pilot, but it's all for a very real cause.
Well, we come out here to kind of support the community, and we're also doing the Toys for Tots event. We will stand out here around the barrels, and we'll collect up some of the toys.
It's the Marines Toys for Tots, an idea that's taking off with model airplane enthusiasts. Dozens gather to show off their flight skills.
Some of these pilots can outfly me in my helicopter, so I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself anymore. These guys are actually they're having a great time.
In order to fly, pilots had to come not just with airplanes in tow, but with a toy for an underprivileged kid.
We're just getting together, a bunch of hobbyists getting together and trying to support the community.
Toys for Tots has been going strong since 1948, a program that spans the country. Last year, Marines delivered more than 19 million toys to almost 8 million children. It's a way to unite the community while sending a message of hope to needy children.
Do you want to see Santa?
At this collection site in Chesapeake, kids from Edmark Hospice will benefit from the donations. Edmark serves children with life-threatening illnesses.
We run strictly on donations, grants, United Way, very little with the insurance company, and we provide Christmas for all our kids and our families, and right now we're caring for about 61 families.
And for a donation, contributors left with a Christmas tree or wreath, or a chance to sit on Santa's lap.
Pretty smart.
Beautiful.
Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8 tonight. This is Gunnery Sergeant Harley Ermy. I want to wish you all very, very, extremely Merry Christmas. Have one on me this year. Hoorah. God bless.
The sights and sounds of the Christmas season are everywhere to be found at Camp Lemonnier, Africa. You don't have to look real hard or real long to stumble upon them. Of course, the temperatures in the high 80s and low 90s makes it a little hard to feel but so jolly. Still, the 2,000 troops out here do the best that they can. Navy Lieutenant Patrice Higgins is a reservist from Little Creek.
What do you think is the hardest part about missing Christmas at home with loved ones?
I think it's the family time together, that togetherness, and being this far from home.
It's just another day. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any seasons, holidays, or anything out here.
Navy Reservist Personnel Specialist 3rd Class Misty Parker of Hampton Roads has posted up pictures of her husband and daughter and is resisting the temptation to feel sorry for herself.
I'll call home a couple times. I mean, what can I do? I'm not going to get myself in a tizzy, getting all upset and depressed about something I can't, I chose to join the Navy, so I can't complain.
Navy Lieutenant John Reynolds is an IA, individual augmentee, on loan from the Norfolk-based USS Oscar Austin. He copes with festive office decorations, and he knows that the work here is vital.
The mission here is an excellent one. The humanitarian efforts and the stopping problems before they arise and help the countries here stand up on their own and do what they need to do to be self-sufficient. It's awesome, man.
Hopefully it will be okay. In the Navy we're always going out to sea, so I spend many times Christmas out to sea, and actually this is better than being floating around, and so it's not too bad.
Navy IT-1 Eric Barney of Virginia Beach has tried to beat the holiday blues by getting off base and playing basketball with local African children.
It was actually pretty nice. I mean, number one, to just get out and mingle and mingle with the kids and just be a positive, role model to them, was very important to me.
Langley Air Force Base Major Dwayne Webster of Seaford, Virginia, has one of the more interesting jobs on camp and off of it. He and his team go out on medical and veterinary civil affairs patrols, treating two-legged and four-legged patients in the Horn of Africa. Webster and his office mates do what they can to make the workplace a little more festive. For Dwayne, the first hurdle was simply accepting where he was being sent.
Originally, I was actually supposed to be going to Balad in Iraq. And a few weeks later, I got the call that said, no, you're now going to Djibouti, Africa. And I was wondering, where is Djibouti, Africa? I'd never heard of it.
The flight deck of the USS Harry S. Truman is a busy place and dirty. Refueling jets, one of the dirtiest jobs.
Double time, it's called double time up here.
Dragging heavy hoses to and from aircraft. LPO First Class Howard Jenkins and her crew work day in and day out with JP5. That's jet fuel, and she does it with a woman's flair.
Yeah, this is dirt right here. That's all JP5 right here. You know what I'm saying? But you still got to keep the nails pretty, though.
This is a job where you're guaranteed to get dirty. Aviation support equipment technician Jill Barnes is also getting dirty. Barnes is a diesel mechanic, one of only 6 women on the ship doing this job.
It can be a very dirty job. I've been elbowed in grease, oil, hydraulic fluid, fuel, you name it.
Dirty jobs mean dirty laundry. The wash decks of the Truman, a virtual non-stop operation. About 1,000 pounds of laundry coming through each day.
I think I have the dirtiest job because their underwear, I have to, separate and...
You have to touch other people's underwear.
Yeah, I have on gloves.
Their thoughts on you civilians who think you have dirty or tough jobs?
They are lucky coming home every day to their kids, to their family and stuff like that.
Be happy you can go home. You can go home to your family.
I can't wait for him to come home, and I miss him a lot. I love him. And I want to say hi, and I miss you. Hi, Dad.
There's a void this Christmas for many of these families. Their loved ones are overseas.
He had to leave on Thursday the 20th in September.
My dad, he's in the WASP, and he's overseas.
And while some will be home just in time, others won't. And for Sandra and her family, it's not just about the empty chair. It's about the annual tradition.
It's going to be a lot different because in the mornings he plays Santa, he won't be there.
And it's difficult not to get choked up about it.
It's his first Christmas gone, so it's a little difficult for us. Even though that our family, my father is in the military and, my mom's husband, we still have to sacrifice our family time. Everybody else can sit down and eat dinner. We can't all the time, and it's hard.
So for April, this annual gathering, the USO holiday party, helps. The music, the laughs, the faces of other kids who are in the same boat, from a different branch, a different family, but here, becoming one branch, becoming one family.
Everybody else is going through the same thing. There's other kids here that are missing their dads at Christmas time, and all of that, so that helps. And you can be there for other people.
It's a lot of fun for the kids. It helps relieve a lot of the tension.
So everyone's having a blast with music, food, and games, but what would a Christmas party be without Santa Claus? And this year, Mrs. Claus joins him too.
We're going to see Santa. We're going to see Santa.
And they wait patiently in line, ready to give Santa their list, which includes toys and dolls. But there's one wish that's not tangible, one wish that would be their greatest gift this Christmas.
I wish he could come home early.
Santa said and promised me before Christmas.
The scenery can be so desolate. Sometimes in this corner of the world, it seems as though you're on another planet.
Occasionally here in Djibouti, we'll stumble upon small pockets of what could only be described as comparative prosperity. But in the vast majority of the rest of the country and the region, it can only be described as abject poverty.
45% of the estimated 650,000 people here are considered by the World Bank to be poor. 10% are rated as extremely poor, unable to afford food. The annual per capita income here is $780. Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa's core objective, simply put, is to just help here and in the other dozen neighboring countries that fall under the command's area of responsibility.
This is one of the hopes here, that the people will see that generosity and education and hope and potential, the types of things that hopefully through your good deeds you're showing them day in and day out, week in, week out, that they'll see that there's a better way than extremism, than violence.
Right, that is part of it. It's clearly a major part of it, trying to turn this around. But it's about us working with the host nations, okay, to do those small building block pieces to hopefully put in place a foundation that creates in people's minds, it is better for me to be part of the government than not part of the government.
As long as the host countries will have us here, do you think we'll always be here now? I mean, to the extent, maybe not here, but I mean here in this region.
I'd like to think that we can change our emphasis. We need to put emphasis here now. We need to help them build capacity. But as they do that, we need to leave the building blocks in place so they can do it on their own, and then we can just have mutual relationships, do exercises together, sort of sustainment training, if you will. I mean, that's long term where you'd like to go.
From USS Oscar Austin, happy holidays, Hampton Roads.
When the USS Oscar Austin pulled away back on November 5th, husbands pulled away from wives, sons and daughters pulled away from parents, and close-knit family members pulled away from each other.
It's kind of frustrating, but you know, you get used to it. You get used to having a family on board, and you know, you meet the people on board, and it becomes a big family, and it takes the place of your family at home.
Ulysses is a bosun and has been in the Navy for 17 years.
My job is being in charge of a lot of young guys, so it's kind of stressful for those guys, but my experience is I work with those guys, and since I've been there so many times, I make sure that, you know, they have everything they need on board and, you know, make sure they keep in touch with their family.
There are plenty of sailors that are doing this for the first time.
My family, they're supportive. They're a little upset that I won't be home for Christmas, but as I said, that's what I signed up for. It just comes with the job.
We found one sailor who missed Christmas last year on this same deployed ship.
Well, it's, you know, it's what I got to do, and I enjoy it. It's hard being away from family, but like BM1 said, you get another family here, so it's nice.
As USS Oscar Austin sails into harm's way, is there extra stress on these sailors?
Extra awareness, I guess, would be the best way to say it. I mean, you know you're going over there, something might happen, something might not happen. You're just a little bit more aware, a little bit more observant of your surroundings.
We always worry. We always think about it, but we have our job to do, and we do it. I'm sure everybody has tense feelings about it. I mean, especially what happened to our fellowship, the Arleigh Burke, and what they've done recently over there. I'm sure there's just a certain atmosphere that keeps everybody tense, but it's a certain state of readiness. You have to be aware of anything that can happen at any time. So
I think for the first timers, there's always that initial sense of not knowing what to expect. But we're well trained, we're well prepared for the mission, and I think they're confident they can handle anything they come across.
At least the mess decks will be full of holiday cheer. In fact, on a daily basis, this is where sailors come for a good meal.
It's a big morale thing. They want to come through the line, they want to get a nice meal. So it's a big part of the day.
Now, we had to let sailors off the USS Oscar Austin pass along holiday greetings to their loved ones back home.
Hey, Don, Connor, happy holidays. And I'm out here, I'm safe, and I'll see you guys as soon as I can. I love you guys.
Oh, yes, I would like to wish my mom and my sisters, my niece, a very, very special holidays. And my girlfriend, Jennifer, I love you, and I'll see you when I get back.
All right, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to my wife, Danielle, and all of our family. I love you.
Mom, Dad, Tab, Jamie, being safe. Happy holidays. I love you guys, and I'll see you when I get home.
Mom, Chris, Dad, Beth, Mike, and my beautiful wife, Christina. Happy holidays. I love you and I miss you.
I'd like to wish a very happy holidays to my mom and dad up in New York, and to you, of course, Wanda. Happy holidays, be safe, and we'll see you soon.
In perhaps the last place on earth you might expect it, strains of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody fill the night air in East Africa. At a community outreach center outside Djibouti City, members of the United States Central Command Expeditionary Band Hot Brass have traveled all the way from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio to entertain as perhaps only they can.
It is a very cool gig, and considering that probably many of these people have never heard an ensemble of our type.
2 trumpets, a tuba, trombone, and sax are augmented by drums for a festive night of rock, jazz, Dixieland, even famous American TV show themes. Talk about spreading a little goodwill.
There's no language barrier at all. And for someone to enjoy a piece of music, you don't need to know French, you don't need to know Djiboutian, you don't need to speak English. You can just listen and enjoy it.
The performance was much appreciated by locals.
Since the Americans have come to Djibouti, we are coming to know each other. And on the cultural side, the American culture we were viewing from far away is coming very close to us, and that's a good thing.
Meantime, back at the camp, the band did its best to bring a little holiday cheer to the troops, blasting through an eclectic set of contemporary and classic Christmas carols.
Some of these guys and gals are here for 12 months or longer, and when you consider that they're leaving families behind and they don't have but, holiday music that comes piped in on a CD or something like that, You know, it's really, we've gotten a great response from people that have come into the dining facility where we played yesterday and say, hey, that was really cool to hear, you know, live brass music. Felt like you're walking down the streets of Chicago listening to the Salvation Army Band or something like that. So.
Oh, and did I mention they're from Dayton?
This is Tech Sergeant Eric Knorr here in Djibouti, Africa. Just wanted to give a shout out to Joe Flanagan from Dayton, Ohio. Hi, Joe, back in Norfolk, Virginia.
And so that's our holiday salute to the 2,000 or so American military men and women out here at Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti, Africa. On behalf of all the troops and photographer Pierre Simmons, thanks for watching us and happy holidays.
All of us at WVEC TV are proud to be a part of this annual holiday salute. These faces you're looking at here at Fort Eustis are on their way to bases in Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. So this holiday season, appreciate the military in Hampton Roads. Salute them, and we salute you. I'm Joe Flanagan, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Best wishes for a happy holiday season from the Apprentice Builders at Northrop Grumman Newport News. Happy holidays!
Season's greetings.
Happy holidays!
Happy holidays.
Season's greetings! Happy holidays!
Season's greetings.
At Taco Bell, we are wishing for a peaceful and prosperous new year. Our thoughts and prayers are with our men and women in uniform, wherever they are, defending our freedom. We appreciate and salute you, our heroes. And on behalf of the Taco Bell family, we would like to wish you a safe and joyous holiday.
Thank you for watching the show. As this annual holiday salute, a tribute to our armed forces, comes to an end, the Dodge dealers of Hampton Roads once again salute all of our armed forces for their unique sense of bravery, courage, and sacrifice that all of you make for America. We would also like to thank the families and loved ones for their support. On behalf of the Dodge dealers of Hampton Roads, happy holidays.